Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to follow up on the situation with Elon Musk and Twitter. Of course, Elon Musk purchased 9.2% of Twitter. He's been appointed to the board of directors.
So he didn't buy more?
And Twitter users are melting down. They're having an extreme conniption fit.
Yes.
What is
That's
a conniption?
A fun word, conniption.
What the hell is a conniption?
I don't know,
but they're having one. Because I said so. They're having one. And anyway, a lot of Twitter employees are now threatening to leave Twitter, to quit Twitter because of Elon Musk. They don't want to make money for Elon Musk. And coincidentally enough, Substack is now hiring, but they don't want those Twitter employees either. So this is really interesting, and I got to give props to Substack's PR person, Lulu, I think it's Maserbi, who put this out there yesterday. Really put herself out there because, man, Twitter did not like her saying that we don't want you people coming to Substack.
Well, there's a lot of people on Twitter who liked it too, though.
A lot of people liked it. I liked it. I thought it was good.
Because heaven forbid somebody be apolitical, but you know.
Heaven forbid. We know it's not going well in tech. We've covered this extensively, that tech companies are trying to go back to center. They're trying to be apolitical after years of, fresh out of college activists getting into tech and thinking that it's their mission in life to make that company believe the same things they believe.
Well, not just the company, but he uses it. And it's funny to me because
it.
I've seen like headlines about Elon Musk on Twitter, like, this is going to be the end of freedom of speech. And I was like, I don't think freedom of speech means what you think it means.
Strike that, reverse it.
Yes, because, here's the thing. What people on like mostly Twitter and places like it have tended to believe, and it's been, catered to. I don't have to agree with somebody who says something shitty. I don't have to like it. But they have the right to say it. If
it's not an actual threat, if people are just like, well, this is a dissenting opinion or whatever. And we've seen the goalposts get moved in tech so far away from, it's weird because the internet used to be the wild, wild west, and now it's like the most censored place. I mean, people go to Facebook, they go to Twitter, they go to YouTube, and every one of these social media platforms is censoring. But
it usually tends to censor certain voices more than others.
So we're going to talk about this because, Twitter now having a meltdown. I think they have a shot to bring normal people back to Twitter who felt disenfranchised before because Twitter's enforcement of rules very, very uneven.
Right, and what their definition of bullying and toxicity is very interesting to me as well, because I've seen some of the biggest bullies, the most toxic, istophobic shit come out of the people that are supposed to be on the side of, of diversity and inclusion and acceptance. And I've seen some really shitty things out of those people, and no one does a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So let's talk about this. It's nice to see other companies push back. I know Silicon Valley is trying to push back. There are a lot of companies out there that are trying to push back. Substack has been in the crosshairs for over a year
as long as I've known about them.
Yeah, it's mostly because they are, I believe, because they are a threat, because they're a Silicon Valley startup that's throwing money at established writers, creators, comic book people. I guess they're getting into podcasts and video now. And they're pulling people away from old media, and they're a threat. That's my own personal opinion. And
there's a lot of jealous people who didn't get deals themselves.
Right. And Substack is not censoring like other platforms. They have people that run the political gamut. They give advances to people based on the number of eyeballs they think they're going to bring in. And yes, there are people on the platform that Twitter definitely does not like.
But there are a lot of people on the platform that Twitter does like as well, and they're the opposite in the spectrum.
And we've talked about this in regards to comics at length because it is kind of a haves and have-nots. We've had, comic book creators try to guilt people that have taken a Substack deal into leaving the platform or giving all their money to, activist causes or all kinds of stuff. And basically it's become another verboten avenue to sell comics through. I'm like, what is left? You've already made Indiegogo verboten. You've made Kickstarter verboten, Gumroad, Patreon's dodgy as hell. That's of all those platforms, the one I would never ever trust is Patreon, because they will follow you around the internet and they will actually pull the plug on your account for any infraction anywhere else on the internet.
Were they even wanting to look at someone's like Google Drive before? Yeah. I mean, that wasn't even on the internet. That was like it is, but it isn't. It's their personal drive. It's just insane. And the thing about Substack that was nice was, they were offering to people across the board. It wasn't just one side or the other. And it's more like a normal business was like several years ago.
They definitely remind me of an older school publisher, because back in the day, you could be a controversial figure, and that was actually good for a prospective publisher, because they'd be like, wow, this person, even if people are talking negatively about this person. They're going to buy the book. Yeah, O.J. Simpson, he's going to sell books, I mean, that's the truth.
That's just the way it is.
That's how it works. So anyway, let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 262,000 subs.
Woohoo!
Thank you for the support. We've talked about Substack in regards to the comic book industry mostly. We've talked about other tech companies getting censor happy. And we know how Twitter is. Twitter will bully you into submission. And it's about damn time that other platforms stand up to Twitter.
Well, they bully you into submission, or they just silence you completely.
Yeah. So this is Lulu Maservi, I believe, who is the VP of Communications for Substack. And, oh, wow, I got to follow. Look at that. Awesome. Thank you. Anyway, her pinned tweet, it's Substack. We don't make moderation decisions based on public pressure or PR considerations.
Good.
An important principle for us is defending free expression, even for stuff we personally dislike.
Yes, that's what freedom of speech means.
Or disagree with. We understand principles come at a cost.
Yes.
That's it. Twitter has been, for the last couple of years, ground zero for cancel culture. They basically want you homeless, living in a cardboard box.
It's one of the most toxic places out there.
It's awful. And, they try to ratio people, be like, look, companies, pay attention to us, because look at all these tens of thousands of tweets, calling these people awful. We're your audience. In reality, it's one, Twitter is not indicative of the real world. I would say probably less than 1% of people use Twitter.
And even of that, it's going to be like a lot of these accounts aren't even real accounts. They said like what, half the accounts on Twitter are like fake accounts, alt accounts. Companies have different accounts they use to retweet themselves. And they even hire groups to come in with shell accounts to get buzz, to generate buzz.
So anyway, a lot of Twitter employees have been threatening to quit over Elon Musk, which I think is hilarious. And I think things are definitely going to change over there. But they have to, because Twitter, as it is right now, is not sustainable.
Twitter's just, it's not fair. It's very uneven-handed in who gets a voice and who doesn't.
Yeah.
And whether I agree with people or not isn't the point. The point is that they have the right to say what they want to say. And now there's consequences sometimes with things you say, but you still have the right to say it.
If you don't like somebody on Twitter,
mute
them, block them, don't follow them. What's the big deal? Unless you're being personally harassed.
They can't mute or not follow, because how else are they going to go through all their tweets to find something wrong to scream about?
I know, right? Anyway, Lulu put this out there. Substack is hiring. If you're a Twitter employee who's considering resigning because you're worried about Elon Musk pushing for less regulated speech, please do not come work here.
Because she knows it's going to be the same thing over there. And these companies don't want the activists there because they're too busy doing activism and not doing their damn job.
Yeah.
This is why all these unions are popping up, like the one in Image, and then the ones we saw like a Kickstarter where they're like, we want control of what can get published and what can't. And it's like, why do you need control of what can get published? It's supposed to be open to everyone. And an Image, it's like, you're not to be like rude to office staff, but you're the office staff. You aren't creating the books.
Yeah, and what's going on is, and again, this is, another conversation we've had before, is that a lot of tech employees in particular are unionizing not for better working conditions necessarily, but they're unionizing because they want to have control over the product, over the company, and use the platform. And we saw what happened with Kickstarter. Kickstarter was gatekeeping certain comic book creators. And then when the pandemic hit and they took a hit to their crowdfunding, they used the pandemic to get rid of nearly all the troublesome unionized activist employees at Kickstarter. Because regardless of how they feel about some of the people using their platform or whatever, I think they realize that they're a business. They can't go just willy-nilly deciding people can't use the platform, and these people were costing them money.
Well, they can't keep it in check either. It's either extreme or nothing.
But for everybody else, we really are hiring, join a talented, determined, passionate, motley team of all backgrounds and beliefs.
Good. That's what we need.
We debate respectfully execute maniacally, and live to serve writers and podcasters. Long live independent publishing.
Amen.
Good.
Because that's what we need. That's what, you know what, once upon a time, not that long ago, like way back in 2010s, early 2010s.
Way back.
Like 10,
years,
not even 10 years ago. That's how everything was. Like, you might work next to somebody who thinks completely differently than you, but you wouldn't talk about it at work. And, you didn't know or you didn't care and you still felt, okay, we don't agree on this, but we agree on this. And everybody got along. And now you're not allowed to. Like, if you didn't vote the same way as me, I'm not even allowed to breathe the same air as you. Especially if it's all going to depend whether you have a mask or not, too. But, I'm not allowed to breathe the same air as you. Oh, you like that one, huh?
We've got blue checks coming out of the woodwork. So you don't want to block hate speech. Cool. I'm sure that's going to work out great.
It has been, actually.
Substack has actually been doing pretty good, as I understand it. And this is just, again, a lot of the people throwing shade at them. And this is the same with comics. From what I can see, there are people who didn't get invited to the party. And so they're going to make people feel guilty who did get invited to the party for going to the party. And, I think it's one of those things where you can outline your terms of service for your company and say, you can't use our platform to do XYZ thing. And that's completely fine. But what Twitter wants is they want you completely eradicated. They want, if you said something in a YouTube comment that had nothing to do with your stuff that you're publishing on Substack or Patreon or whatever, they're going to go tell the teacher to try to get the teacher to kick you out of class.
Right.
That's how this works.
Like this one person, like what part? It's hard to get. You can discuss whatever you want, but if you are looking to join only to quit or put pressure on management to suppress speech that offends you, clearly Substack is not the place for you. Yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, pretty much. Here we have another blue check. So Twitter employees who are anti-bullying, anti-harassment, anti-Russian misinfo bots need not apply at Substack. Got it. Wait, isn't your company supposed to be the home of people who can communicate eloquently? Do better.
Wait. So a couple things are wrong here. One, blue check. A couple things here. One, blue check. First of all, can I have this? Twitter is not anti-bullying, anti-harassment. I can tell you that for a fact. I have seen so much bullying. I see people tell other people to kill themselves over coloring a character too late. Bullshit. It's a home for acceptance and positivity. Russian bots. I've seen studies done on how blaming everything on Russian bots when they clearly weren't Russian bots. And when we're talking about bots, it's not all Russian bots that have alt accounts and lots of them on here.
If you don't like the authors on Substack, you have to pay.
Don't back those authors.
Don't back them. Don't follow them on Twitter. Don't buy their books. I mean, it's not hard. That's how it used to be back in the day. Like, oh, hey, I think this person's pretty dodgy. I definitely don't agree with their opinions. Hell no, I'm not buying their book. I'm not watching their movie. I'm not whatever. That's all you got to do.
When that doesn't work, we're going to try to make it about medical misinformation. Which medical misinformation are we? Yes, because literally it changed daily, at least weekly.
Twitter's behaving just like Twitter. I mean, if anything shows, perfectly illustrates how much Twitter needs to be reformed. It's this. Like, you can't even say, hey, if you're going to rage quit because Elon Musk is kind of your boss right now, please don't come work here either. We don't want you. And I think they're doing this to filter out people to make sure that they don't, apply, because they are going to be trouble.
We got this idiot. Well, let's put it right here. Substack means freedom. When they mean freedom in a journalistic context, they mean freedom from pesky editors and journalistic standards. Yes, because the internet so far has just been so full of journalistic standards. I can't even with the blogs anymore and half the shit they put up there. Why constrain yourself with accuracy or ethics? Because again, ethics according to what they believe is ethical, not what maybe somebody else believes something else differently. Doesn't matter. You only are allowed to believe one thing because Twitter says so.
I don't think you're taking employees from Twitter. Good luck with the lawsuits.
But lawsuits? How are you going to have lawsuits? Because you said don't apply if you work here. How is it any different than Marvel the people from Marvel were saying, hey, Marvel's hiring, but I'm going to tell you right now, we don't want straight white men to apply. How is that any different?
Yeah, I mean, there are other companies out there, and they get all kinds of high fives on Twitter, saying that, hey, it's great that you're making sure all the straight white dudes don't have any.
Right. Discrimination's okay when they're the ones that do it. Yeah. It's like, I don't even think it's even about that, because from my understanding of what I've seen, they've taken in all kinds of authors with all different types of political viewpoints, all different types of identities. It's not like we're only taking a certain type of person. It's across the board. And for everyone they're bitching about in one side, there's like 2 or 3 more on the other that are doing the opposite. And that's what was great about it, was because there's something for everyone, and there's a wide range of ideas, because there's just this one thing called, talking or debating or reading things and then making decisions for yourself. You could think for yourself. It's so hard to imagine.
God, I like this one. This is refreshing to hear from the software space. No, it's actually, I mean, it is, but it's also
how it should be.
And we're seeing more companies, especially in the software space, pushing back. Because Silicon Valley, frankly, has been compromised by activists that come in, and it's look.
You can pretty much say most everything has been compromised by activists.
Because it's a huge platform, right? And they want to get in there, and they know if you've got control of Facebook, or you've got control of Twitter, or you've got control of a major,
you can control the narrative.
Yeah, major studio, news networks, whatever. You can control the narrative, and it's not even about business anymore. We're like, why do these companies keep making these stupid decisions and losing money and all this? And we're assuming that their motivation is the same as ours. We're like, well, you're running a company, you want to make money, right? Well, no. In a lot of cases, the hired help that they bring in, they don't want to.
Yeah, but that's why there's been these companies that's getting rid of people right and left, and then they're all called out. How dare you? Because the company's not going to stay in business if we don't start putting business first.
Anyway, we're seeing companies try to get rid of the activists. They've let them in like a vampire. Coinbase tried to get rid of some. Only 5% of their workers leave. They gave them the option of leaving. They actually gave them paid severance. They were like, hey, we're sorry, activists, but we're going to be apolitical and we're going to focus on actually running our business. And they got all pissy and left.
Contrary to what Twitter will tell you to, most companies, the people in them, like you have these people that are very, very loudly complaining. They don't make up the majority for the most part, but they're the ones that take up a lot of the time and cause the company a lot of issues. Yeah. A lot of people in the company all identify different ways. And they all are like, would you just shut the fuck up? Sorry, Mom. But they're tired of it too. I mean, the public at large is just sick to death of your shit.
All of the colors of the rainbow think you're a fucking moron. Now pack your shit and get out of here.
Right. So it's like,
stop it. You're making things way harder for everybody. You're costing us money. Get out of here. Anyway, we know it's all lip service. I just think it's really interesting. I think out of necessity, if nothing else, we're going to see more companies push back.
They're going to have to.
The Twitter mindset, because it destroys companies. It rots companies from the inside out. And again, I'm not saying companies internally can't work on, having their employees get along better.
More diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, have their employees, empathize better with other people, whatever, have certain codes of conduct. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you get activists that come into a company and their activism is their primary focus, and actually doing their damn job is secondary.
That's how can I leverage this company to get what I want?
How can I use this company to message my followers on social media so I can get fist bumps and I can bounce and I can go someplace else?
How can I bully the company by threatening they're going to get listed as wrong thinkers to get them to do what I want so I can bully other people?
Yeah, and that's it. And eventually you run out of people to bully, because I'm looking at the situation in comics right now, and there are certain troublemaking editors in the comic book industry that were all that just 4 or 5 years ago, and now they're completely unemployable.
Because everybody knows they're troublemaker editors.
They bounce from one place to another. They go stir up a bunch of shit. It's never about the work. It's all about the drama. And it turns out they're not good at their jobs. They get shit canned. They move on to another place, destroy that one, and then move on to another one like a bunch of locusts.
But anyway, back to the point. Substack says, hey, they're open to everyone, so there you go.
Yeah, if you're not nuts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not nuts.
No, if you're nuts, you're allowed to have stuff on there too. It's just that,
Oh, I thought you meant working there. Yeah,
no, working there, working there. But it's freedom of speech for everybody else.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Now he's just tasty, delicious, rotten flesh meat, which I can consume. Don't read into it too much.
Just like our museum, the cafe, it's open and Brewster is eager to serve. I don't think this was in the show. Run. Oh, you got splatted.
No. Oh, wait.
Oh, she was begging and you kicked her in the face.
I don't care.
Hey guys, Squid King here, and today we're in a...
Not girl boss at all. She is not a material girl.
She is not. Oh, it's Christmas time here in your mom. Nobody wants to join your mom.
What?
Like, I can't even cook kid cuisine right. I would last about 2 minutes with Gordon Ramsay.
What? Where is he?
He's hiding. He's hiding from you.
Better.
Oh my God, you got the axe.
Walker, does this look like Steven Universe? Let me punch him. Well, I'm just here for the wax. Right where you belong.
Get in the dirt.
Well, that was a combination of events I probably shouldn't have put together. Anyways, let's open this bottle too.
Chica Pinata. Is that official?
Oh, no.
There's a bootleg.
Hello. Ooh, sorry.
Hey guys, it's Diamond Tool.
Let's make a farm.
Like and subscribe and buy my merch.
I mean, while you're here, you guys should like really like and subscribe and buy our merch, all of which we have.
That is true. You can't run them carrying trash. You can get away with one F-bomb per PG-13 movie.
I wish I'd known that sooner.
No. All right, so we're going to wrap this effer up.
Yes.